Yo, what's up, guys? Nico here. Hey, I wanted to talk about the recovery process just a little bit. And I was thinking about it because I was watching some people lay some concrete. And as I said before, growing up, I used to work in the construction field. And one of the things that we did for the business that I work for is we would lay concrete. It got me thinking about the recovery process and how it can be related to concrete and pouring concrete. If you've never done it before, never seen it before, concrete gets ordered, comes in like a liquid form, gets poured into a frame, and then that frame holds the concrete into its mold. That mold then needs to be screeded over, smoothed out, and then if you like to, you get to put your initials in right before it dries. It's a process, right? Well, just like recovery, it's a process as well. The reason why they can relate is because it's a very delicate process when you're laying concrete. You have a certain window of time that this liquid slush, if we want to call it, gets poured into the ground, and then from there, you're on a timer to go ahead and get it as smooth as you possibly can so that it can be finished, and then it can go ahead and sit there and cure. Well, if you mess with it while it's being poured, or if you walk on it before it's too cured, too dried up, you're gonna mess up that concrete, right? The same concept goes for our recovery. Pouring a new life into yourself. It's going to be a little bit slushy, a little bit messy at first because it's brand new, and that's perfectly fine. You should have a mold of what you'd like it to be, because ideally you should be working towards a goal in your recovery. I believe that that's one of the biggest benefits that you can do for yourself is set some goals, some checkpoints, if you want to call them that you plan on meeting. So you want to have that mold, the ideal mold that you want to go ahead and create. And now you're pouring into your life these recovery habits. Well, these recovery habits you need to be protective over, because if you just let somebody come in and walk right through them, you're going to fuck up your concrete, right? You're going to have to restart over. So if you're letting someone back into your life who isn't acknowledging or okay with or supportive of your recovery, they might fuck it up because they might still have some influence on you. You haven't been completely cured yet. You haven't been dried out long enough. You got to be aware of that, because the other thing that you got to be aware of is the environment. We'd have to check the schedule and look at the weather for whenever we would lay concrete, because if it was going to go ahead and rain real hard, or if there was going to be a dust storm or some wild weather, then we couldn't plan on doing the pouring on a certain day, because the rain would come down and leave a bunch of holes inside of the concrete. It wouldn't be a nice smooth slab. You got to be prepared for that too, but don't let it delay your recovery. You just have to be prepared for it. Know that, hey, I'm about to walk into this new path. I need to monitor as much as I can, even if it is the weather of your life. You need to be prepared for situations that may pop up. Whatever those situations may be are different for each and every one of us, but you got to start kind of planning for that as well. In your recovery, while you're working on it, while you're smoothing it out, you need to go ahead and make sure that you only have skilled professionals around you. At the time, I was probably about 14, 15 years old. I was working with these grown men who were laying concrete for most of their lives. So I was just the grunt work. Get in there, move it around to where it needs to be moved around. But then these skilled laborers would come in and they would screed over the top, finish it off, make it real look nice and smooth. Sometimes, guys, we need to engage some skilled laborers, and as it relates to recovery, you may need to get a counselor that's going to help you out. You may need to have a recovery coach that's going to give you some guidance because they've already been through it. You may need to go ahead and get a therapist involved, and there is some additional medicine that you might need to take. Those would be skilled laborers that you would need to have in your corner, so be prepared for that as well. Ideally, guys, we would lay concrete it'd get poured, run smooth, because we'd have just enough concrete come get poured, and then we would have right laborers come through and screed it on over. Now, don't get me wrong, each and every job had its one-off problems, just like each and every one of our recoveries is going to have their own one-off problems. But if we can set the mold that we want, we can get the right people involved, you can lay a nice slab. Same for your recovery. If you set the right mold for yourself, you get the right people involved, you're going to have a larger success at your recovery. And ideally, that's what we're wanting to go ahead and do here. I want people to be successful in their recovery, because a recovered lifestyle can happen. Recovery is possible, but you're the one that needs to put in the work. In this scenario, you're the one that needs to do the grunt work, that labor. It's not fun, don't get me wrong, but when it's done, you're going to have something firm to stand on. And when you have something firm to stand on, it's a lot more encouraging, because you built something, you built your recovery, and now you can take it to the next level. Ideally, that's what I want you guys to be able to do. Make recovery a foundation so that you can build on it. At the end of the day, how I figured all this out is my recovery laid the foundation for this No Halo, and I love it.